Pastor Scott with a speech impediment. This is round two. And to my right is Julie Mae McDougall, and she is the head of our finance team. She is an incredible congregant who is a singer and a childcare provider and a growth group leader and is always in the lobby smiling and giving high fives and hugs to
I'm a
people
top
who need them.
high fiver as
You
well.
are. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think top 10 in the world.
Oh, wow.
We are here with Budget Bites, and we're going to discuss just a little bit about the budget process of how we get to our budget. And as leader of the Finance Committee, Julie, I'd like to hear from your perspective how you have found both pre-finance team and then now as you're, not knee-deep, you're eye-deep in this budget.
That's true.
What's the process to get to this point?
So this is definitely something that I think we haven't really just done much education or speaking about, which so it might feel like, where do these numbers come from?
God.
Of course, we pray about it,
Yes.
and then the numbers magically appear on the spreadsheet.
Yes, yes.
But all joking aside, when you've been doing something for so long, of course, you're going to have a lot of historical data to tell you what have things cost in the past when we do this program or when we do this ministry, what typically comes up. And so one thing that I think when we are creating the budget for the following year, we look at the data that we have from the past year. Of course, we look at our starting place, but our finance team actually meets every month and reviews monthly reports. We look at the budget versus the actual expenditures, and we look for trends. So we might be noticing month after month that we are slightly over budget, but consistently over budget in an area such as hospitality. And we're in hospitality. So
Everybody loves their coffee.
Everybody loves some coffee and the creamers and the sodas and all that stuff. And that is an important part of our experience in that helping people feel welcome
Right.
and making them feel like, hey, this is a safe place and this is a place I want to be. So it's not that we want to get all austere and cut it all, but we need to be mindful that, okay, so if costs are rising in all of these consumer products, then we might need to up our budget the next year as we're making those plans. And that's really what a lot of it comes down to, is that we are keeping a very close eye on the trends of our spending and the costs of things as throughout the year based on in comparison to what we initially budgeted.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are able to go ahead and, yes, we have a baseline from the prior year that we're not starting from scratch every year, but we really do try to take into account, okay, we know that, for example, costs on our utilities have been going up. We've been seeing a month after month, we've been seeing an increase in our utility costs. So when we look at something like utilities spending and we're seeing a month after month being slightly over budget to moderately over budget in that because, again, increased costs of utilities, we want to get ahead of that. We want to go ahead and predict that higher cost for the next year. So oftentimes when you first look at a new budget, it might feel like a sticker shock when you see the comparative number from the overall bottom line.
Absolutely.
From last year to what we're projecting for this year. And that's because it's all of these little incremental increases that we've noticed. And of course, there's going to be some decreases. We're going to have some changes where we've been able to save money, like on the Google subscriptions.
Absolutely.
And, when, for example, our former accounting professionals that we were using for several years, those costs were increasing. We were able to find an alternative provider. So now we have new accounting support, and it's going to cost us a lot less.
Absolutely.
But things like that, also things that can still take you unawares. Like, I'll tell you, a huge wild card for us has been insurance.
Yeah.
Right? Year to year. It's like up 50,000, down 30,000, up.
and cancel and then reinstate and read to quote to bid. And that process, if you've ever quoted your insurance, it's not fun.
No.
If you can make it fun, you can make a lot of money, but let's keep going, sir.
You're right. And so even with careful planning and monitoring of expenditures and trends and taking that into consideration, we still may end up with some surprises.
Right.
This year we've had to do some tree work on our property.
Yeah.
That was a hazard if we had not taken care of it. And any of you many of you who live here in this beautiful green tree covered area know that tree work is not inexpensive, especially you're going to get it done well and you're going to get it done safely.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
most people are surprised we have trees on our property at all, but it's on the backside.
Yeah, we had like
In the
3
alley.
trees, and
Yeah.
they were the ones that needed to come down.
And
so.
one was massive and very scary looking. So yes.
So if that, for example, is something that you really, even though we do project some of our categories, like when
Right.
we look at maintenance, for example, we look at historical records, and then we also add in a buffer because we know that there
Right.
are going to be things that happen outside, but sometimes that buffer gets blown all in one foul swoop with something like a major tree job or something.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I think you're spot on with this explanation. I appreciate it. Let's say, just for example, the senior pastor came to you, the lead pastor, handsome guy, good with kids, and he says, "I'm recommending a $100,000 raise next year." What's to stop him from doing that?
Well, basically me and the rest of the finance committee and the wise council. So we might say, you are really good at this and that and excellent with children, no doubt. But unfortunately, that's just not going to be feasible within our budget. And so there's definitely it's a team approach to this budget. I mean, so there's a lot of checks and balances there. And then Pastor Scott can say, yeah, or he can say, let me work on that and I'll see if I can figure out a creative solution. And we go back and forth several times through the months of between usually about March, late February, early March, all the way through when this budget's presented to the owners.
Yeah.
It goes back and forth quite a few times.
What I've committed to is saying the staff starts out, and it's not just me, but the staff saying we want to do X, Y, Z. And it's not a huge, if you look at this new budget, it's not a huge change. Not like we're adding tons of new ministries or cutting a bunch of ministries. It's really adding about 2 or 3 things, but we really love the ministry we're doing. And then from the staff, we go to finance team and look for some wisdom from this person to my right. And also, don't roll your eyes. You are wise. And then the whole finance team is
Yes,
amazing
they are.
and do a great job of going through the budget. And then back to wise counsel. And then from that, we do a second full round. And this year was very hard because of the inflation, because of the sticker shock of that first giving line. But I think we're doing really good ministry, and I think we're going to be able to see giving increase commensurately with the amount of ministry
What's
we're
that
doing.
about? I mean, there has to be this aspect of faith where we say we believe that some of these things, some of these ministries are so vital to this community or what we're seeing in our global outreach or whatnot that we know that God's bringing people here, and that we believe that He is transforming us into disciples who are growing deeper into our relationship with God in terms of our generosity, our giving, understanding stewardship. And so some people are going to be giving who aren't giving right now. We're going to see
Absolutely.
people come through the door between July 1 and June 3rd, July 1, 2026 and the end of June the following year who are not here right now, who will be
Absolutely.
contributing to that. So there is an element of we are, yes, asking to move a little bit deeper into that faith walk, but it's not, I would agree with you, like what we're asking is not, it's not audacious. Like, I mean, it's within sight of
Yeah.
the community that we are. And I believe that we are a really generous community of disciples who is committed to this idea of not just spurring each other on toward a deeper faith, but also really engaging our local community in the outreach that we're doing with Serve and with W.T. Moore and with our ramp builds, but also our relationships globally in Uganda and in Guatemala, and just the work that can be done for the kingdom of God. And I think that we are a group of people that really believe that we have time, talents, and treasures that we want to put toward that effort. And so that's what kind of goes into it. It's a balance between, yes, we were being realistic about inflation and about costs and what's necessary. We could tell you it's going to be a lot less, and we could lie. And then halfway through the year next year, everyone's like, why are we so over budget? It's like, well, because things got more expensive. But I think if we're honest about that now and we project more accurately, if anything, conservatively, to build in a little bit more margin there, then great. When we'll be on track and it won't feel like we're behind all of next year.
I love that. I think that's a really brilliant way of putting all of that. I love the anecdotal moments of seeing testimonies transformed here, and the almost, I think we're at 14 baptisms by this fiscal year. Those are the signs that we are doing ministry. We're doing ministry in a centered, set way, and seeing lives transformed through all the work we're doing, and the funds really to spur that on and allow that to happen. And I think your description was spot on.
Thank you.
You should do this for a living. Yeah.
I'll add it. I'll add it to my bucket list.
Well, I'll sing the theme song if you want to take us out verbally.
Okay.
Budget bites.
We will see you next time for a little more about our ministry spending.
Exciting.
Bye.
Bye.